The instructors.
You know,
Now I'm saying instructors, but in Japanese, soki could be the family head, because you see a lot of people using the term soki. You see people using the term shidoshi.
very
You
loosely.
see people using the term shihan, sensei, senpai. Any other in particular?
Well,
There's so many.
there's so many, and people call themselves doctors. We have nothing to do with the martial
Well,
arts.
yeah, absolutely. It has
That's
nothing to
just
do with
ridiculous.
ninjutsu.
That's just ridiculous, though.
But I mean, these are titles that are given to people because of they give it to themselves because of ego, and there is no doctrine in martial arts per se. It's just something that's made up. I mean, you how could you be a doctor? You can't even write a prescription, and yet you'll see these people with egos, misled people, and people who have absolutely no knowledge about the martial arts. You go into their school and they'll have a certificate on their wall that says Doctor so and so, and it's laughable. It's a joke. The other thing I see is titles like Shihan on a woman. The word Shihan means master. Master means mister. Mister applies only to a man. It cannot apply to a woman. You know, calling a woman Shihan is like calling her mister. So it's the same thing. So they just don't. They lack the knowledge of
Yes.
what it is. You also see the like traditionally there were no female instructors. There were no female senseis or shihans.
Well,
in fact, as far as I know, now you may have a female sensei, but you will not have a master, and they don't give those dans to the women like that, you know, unless if, like I said, you know, she has an alternate lifestyle. I'm just saying that historically it's not accepted.
Right.
We don't accept it in our school. The woman gets up to sensei, that's it. She doesn't go any higher. She doesn't get any done. And we follow the way of Koga, and that's the way it's been taught to me. And historically, that's the way it's been. So that's the way we follow. And if it's going to be changed in the future, it would have to be done through a federation in order for that to be changed.
No, I believe that's in the works. That brings us back again to the instructor issue. You know, you have to understand that we live in a European society. We respond. We kind of a guilt-driven society, as opposed to Japan. Japan is more of a honor-driven society. So now we make up all these things to make ourselves feel good. And the thing is, we have become Europeans. We have become very proficient. We think we can teach martial arts techniques to the Japanese. We can teach them because we have evolved in that sense. But we always notice how we always look back and we all want to go to Japan and train in Japan. It's not because of the techniques. I train in Japan. I live in Japan, and I have to tell you, I was not this level of skills was impressive. The technique was not that impressive, but as I go through the years, I realized that it was not about the technique, that it was about Budo, and that's a different topic. But Budo, the essence of true martial arts, you know, living martial arts, and the spiritual aspect. A lot of old, you know, you go to Joe Blow's. The thing is, what we need and we lack in also in our society, and this is why you see the title is a reflection of this, is that we lack in the spirituality, the spiritual part. The Japanese still have hold of that title, of those. They have the scrolls, they have all the information. You know, there's a lot of information out there, but they have a lot of information, and they still consider the keepers of this information. And this is Budo in reality. And a lot of us martial artists out there, we don't practice Budo. We just do the technical part. You know, we call it system this, and we come up with an array of different names and systems here and there, but they all meaningless really, because without Budo, it's not really a system. It means nothing. It's empty.
But even in that time, different practitioners of ninjutsu were into Shinto, Buddhism, Zen, into different they weren't all into the same type of spirituality. Just as the practitioners of ninjutsu here in America You'll find people who practice Islam, who
Right.
practice Judaism or Christianity or Sabianism or even paganism, dealing with the ninjutsu and using that as their spiritual background.
Well, that is to be given, to be protective of not just other people but of all things. Those are universal values, and that's what the Buddha actually teaches. Once you once you get into religion or politics, unfortunately we have to deal with it because we are humans. But once you get into that, then it's a different ball game. You get into personal opinions. It becomes a little more complicated.
But there is politics and there is religion involved in ninjutsu. People do it as in fact, as a religion. I've come into a different ninjutsu school where all the practitioners were Jewish.
Unfortunately, that is true.
I went to a place where all the practitioners practicing ninjutsu are all Muslim. Numerous places you go across the country into the South and North Carolina where we go to different camps, and all the practitioners of that particular school are Christian. And so on. You can go to different groups, and that's what they'll only have that. I mean, that's unfortunate. I mean, but just that's the way it is. So if you speak of spiritualism, that in itself is a religion.
Well, that is again, that is unfortunate because when you enforce your view, your personal view on other people, then you limit yourself. Not only do you limit yourself or the vision of yourself, but you limit the experience of everybody else. Not only the people that are involved with you, but of everybody else that are not involved with you. It's unfortunate, and that's where the fallacy of the mind comes in. In one of my books, actually, I talk about the fallacy of the mind, how easy it is to be prejudiced, how easy it is, how by nature we are prejudiced in a way,
Yes.
But
No, not in a way. We are prejudiced by nature. Psychologists have proven, we are all, no matter how much you try to fight it, we're all prejudiced. Psychologically, we're all prejudiced. I mean, if you're walking down the street, and I know I am, because I'm walking down the street and I see 4 thuggish-looking guys on one side of the street, on the left-hand side of the street, but I look across the street and I see 4 guys who I feel safe, then if I cross over to the other side, then I'm prejudiced. I prejudge my situation.
Of course, because you're an intelligent being.
Because you have to. It's in your nature.
Right.
However, we can get away from such ideas, and I guess that we would have to be more faithful to the Creator, and just
not only that, not only faithful, but also tolerant to open our doors, to open our hearts, and deal with people from all walks of life. Because there's only one outcome out of that: is you will be a better man or a better person if you open yourself to everything and anything there is. And that is the essence of ninjutsu, is to adapt. Not to individualize, to compartmentalize, not to divide people, but is to create this universal community. It's unfortunate, but there are people like you and I. There are other instructors that are out there that are very good. They follow the path of Buddha. They teach. Doesn't matter the color, the religion. They just love to teach. They love to share. They love to learn. I love to learn from my own students. I look at my white belt students and that's a good idea. And sometimes I see them doing something. So that gives me an idea. So it makes me, and I have students from all walks of life, Jewish and Muslim, Christian and Catholic. It doesn't really matter, because you know what? In the end, all this information is useless. All this information is not really important. It doesn't define us as spiritual beings. That is, that it gives you a title here on earth because we're physical beings. So it gives you a sense of importance. I mean, that's okay. But it really, in the end, it doesn't matter. It has no meaning whatsoever in defining you as a spiritual being. And this is something with that a lot of the people, and us European, we have missed. The Japanese still hold on because they look at honor. We don't do that. And the Japanese still have a place in the martial arts, and they will continue to have a place in the martial arts unless we are awakened to a different mentality, to a different view of the world society, of world community, of martial arts, not as an individual or group thing, but more of a universal practice